to set a bit of context for our conversation, there's sort of two main themes we wanted to get into. But just to set some of that context, I know that Jean-Denis Grez sent out a tweet right around the Super Bowl time, said nearly 500,000 people signed up for a new fintech app on Plaid during the Super Bowl. So that sort of indicates that was a pretty big moment for Plaid and has been a marker that Plaid has evolved a lot over the last 10 years. The other side of this is you were also the first external engineering manager hired at Plaid way back when. So your role has evolved extensively within Plaid as well. And so what we're excited to do is really to spend some time deconstructing both of those evolutions, yours and Plaid's. And so to dive in a little bit more to that story, like, do you remember what it was like when you first joined Plaid? Like, what was that moment like when you first got introduced? What was Plaid's focus then? And why was the organization really ready to hire you at that moment?
I joined Plaid in mid-2017, and the company was founded in sort of late 2012. And I think my actually first introduction to Plaid was in 2013 when I had started my own startup, and we shared an investor with Plaid. So, we were two people in the homebrew offices, and Zach and William, the founders of Plaid, were also just starting off, also homebrew portfolio companies. So had kind of heard of them then and gotten to see Zach and William at a ton of founder events and recruiting events, and really just enjoyed them as people and could tell they were super hardworking, super humble. So that was my first introduction to Plaid. Sort of fast forward, our startup didn't do as well as Plaid, obviously, and ended up at Dropbox, where I was working for Jean-Denis. And so sort of two roads kind of led me to Plaid in 2017. But, the stage sort of in between 2012 and 2017, I think Plaid had gone through a lot of that early stage, trying to find product market fit, really, just concentrating on building a great product. And they were starting to get to this transition period of needing to also think about building a great company after they got to product market fit. And so I sort of joined at that phase where, the company still was very focused and very kind of single track. And if you aren't familiar with Plaid, the product that we provide is an API for developers to make it really easy for developers to connect an end user's financial account to their applications. And so the way we do that is by making one single integration point that allows developers to access thousands and thousands of banks. So at that point, Plaid's product market fit was really just how quickly can you add new banks and new financial institutions to the platform, and how high quality can you make those integrations. So very much still focused on that, but starting to see signs of product market fit and customer pull, which indicated that the team needed to scale. And so the team had gotten to about 30 engineers. Prior to Jean-Denis joining, they were all reporting to the CTO, and starting to see some of the issues of that scaling, of course. And so they were at the stage where it really starting to think about, like, how do we build out the engineering team and do that in a sustainable way. And, just like any early company, you have engineers that are going to be asked to step up and become managers just out of necessity. And so there's a few people that had done that, some that wanted to stay as managers, some that wanted to get back to IC work, but really needed to start looking at sort of an external bench of managers as well. And then at that stage, it's really important. I think, every hire is really important, but certainly you can mess up a lot as if you bring in the wrong leadership at that stage. And so I know that the search for the head of engineering for Jean-Denis took a really long time, and they found a perfect candidate. And I think for the first EM hires, it was a similar thing. So I think one, having been a little bit of a de-risk quantity, having known the founders and Jean-Denis, made me a known quantity, but also I think they were looking for somebody that could sort of balance the early startup culture with the needs of a scaling engineering team in the next year or two. And I had kind of just uniquely been in both of those positions in the last couple of years. For me, it was really exciting. I'd never worked at that stage of hypergrowth, and I found that really exciting, as well as the mission of unlocking financial freedom for everyone. So all those things just came together, and it just felt like a very obvious fit.
I think it's really interesting to sort of see the exemplification of like that lily pad effect of the different tech ecosystems, and how your involvement in one area and connecting with different founders of different companies also then you never know how far in advance in your career that opens up opportunities. And then it's also really cool for you to narrate sort of the thought process in the moment for why at that time you're a really good fit for Plaid, which I thought was really interesting. Can you can you give us a quick zoom out to now? Like, what's your role now at Plaid? Can you share a little bit more about context around that?
Yeah, so I oversee our core business. So, when I started at Plaid, I was first engineering manager and managed several teams, and then as the company grew, managed several engineering orgs, but it was very much engineering focused. The biggest difference between my role then and now is really kind of overseeing our core products as a business. So inclusive of engineering, but also working really closely with product and product marketing and our go-to-market teams to ensure that our business is growing the way we want it for years and years. So it's been definitely a mindset shift for me, not just thinking about the engineering side of the house and getting to really like think about the P&L and our business as a business, and it's been really rewarding. Tons of learning every day.